What's going on, everybody? Hopefully, you guys are having a wonderful time out there. In today's show, we're going to be talking about how to conquer debt using the snowball method versus the avalanche method. And we're going to be talking about um, a corporate guide to overcoming self doubt and financial burnout. So, for those of you who are new to me, I just want to say welcome to the show. Uh, Here, we actually help people build strong financial habits through providing lifestyle guidance from experts and also from everyday people like you and I. Because I have the feeling that we all learn from each other, and you can always learn something from someone, whether or not it's to believe them for the future or is it something that you can actually take away from? So today's episode is going to be pretty short because I just want to make sure that you get this content and go forward. But before I do that, I just want to make sure that if you haven't already, go ahead on and subscribe to the show if it's your first time listening. And for those of you who are returning, go ahead on and leave a comment just to let me know you're here. Let me know where you came from. And actually, while if you guys are driving or doing something in the background while you're listening to this episode, I just want you to kind of think about the different ways that you actually pay off debt and just kind of think about, what are you actually getting out of this particular episode? Is this something that you would actually like to explore a little bit more? Or is this something that you want to make sure that you're on the right path? So I just want to kind of keep those things in mind while you're doing this particular episode. And as we go through it, I'm gonna try to keep it short, so that means that I have to go ahead on and play my little intro, get this thing going, and we're gonna be up out of here. Okay. All right. Hold tight. You're listening to the About That Wallet podcast. We'll be right back after these messages. Little credit score dragging you down? Score Boost by Smart Credit helps you maximize your score by showing you exactly how much you need to pay off and by which date to gain the most points. Pay less and gain the most points the fastest. And you can start just for $1. Click the link in the bio, save thousands. Don't wait.
Even the best and the brightest this world has to offer have coaches and mentors. Build strong money-making behaviors by applying financial concepts and strategies with Anthony Weaver on the About That Wallet Show. It's time to get off the bench and get in the game. Now, here's your host, Anthony Weaver.
All right, so let's go on. Let's jump right into it. For those of you who are jumping in, go ahead on and let me know where you're from. If not, let's keep moving. All right, so the first thing that we're going to talk about is me. So just to let you know, give you a little bit of background, the reason why I want to talk about this topic is because it's near and dear to my heart and how I was able to get out of debt and actually be able to kind of have a stronger understanding of my finances is that I've had a 324 credit score. I did not know they got that low, but that is something that got me there when I was getting out of a relationship. I had to cancel a lot of stuff. However, I came out of that doing that process of canceling all my credit cards and being able to recover back to a 650 credit score within 8 months. And I've interviewed over 100 people for this particular podcast. And I've also created a budget calendar that is something that helped me get through my rut when I had everything was like all out of whack and I needed something to focus on. So I created a budget calendar because it was something that I used myself to actually get out of debt, and it has helped other people who have used it as well. So if you would like to get that, go ahead on and go to aboutthatwallet.com/shop and go ahead on and get the budget calendar today. So first thing first is that we need to understand what the heck is the snowball method. So the snowball method involves just paying off debts in order of the smallest balance to the largest, regardless of the interest rate. So when you look at your bills, you want to look at it from, like, say if you got a $500 bill, $1,000 bill, $1,500 bill, and maybe a $13,000 bill. You want to focus on the $500 bill, which means that you actually are paying a little bit extra to that lowest one, paying beyond the minimum balance while you continue on to pay the minimum balance for the rest of the debts so that you do not become delinquent, but you want to focus on that. And this kind of helps provide a sense of accomplishment. And because you're actually finding that sense of accomplishment, it's like one of those short wins, that 2% win, you know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things that you want to do. What's going on, Sierra? Thank you so much for coming back. Greatly appreciate you. Glad to hear that everything is going well. And it's good to see you again. Let's see. The next one, which is now we're going to be understanding the avalanche method. So the avalanche method involves paying off your debts in the highest interest rate to the lowest interest rate, regardless of the balance. So say if you have, let's do that same scenario. You have the $500 uh, account, and then you have the $1,000, the 1,500, and the 13,000. So say if the 13,000 only has a 2% interest rate, you're not going to worry about that one. If the $500 one has, even a 6% interest rate, trust me, this is in a magical world. We're going to play around with that. We're going to just say maybe it has a 6%, but that $1,000 one has a 29% interest rate. You want to go ahead on and focus on that $1,000 interest account because that one will provide you with a better payoff. Now, this one right here maximizes your savings on interest. The reason why you want to do this is because it will actually save you money in the long run. If you just want to play it by the numbers, not by your feelings, this will more than likely be the option that most people would take. Now, let's look at the pros and cons here. So, the pro for when it comes to dealing with the snowball method is that it has a method of sense of accomplishment, right? It provides that motivation. It provides something that's easily visually to see in that this is showing progress. What's going on? Stay Winning Podcast. You guys, if you haven't already, check out Hugo's show. He has been talking about crypto, talking about Web 3.0, and actually providing a great concept over there. So I highly recommend checking out his show if you haven't already. And if you guys are just tuning in, make sure you go ahead on and like the particular episode so that more people can find me. Thank you guys. Oh, yeah, this is a fun topic. So this one has really helped me out to get through this show. So another pro when it comes to the avalanche side of the house, because I want to talk about the positive here. You know what I'm saying? We're in a positive mood today. The avalanche method is financially efficient. When I was talking about as far as saving money and everything like that, you get to do that early on. And if you just want to go by the numbers, this is the best option for you. But also it can help you save money on interest in the long run. So obviously you paying more, you're not worrying about that interest stacking up over time. Because remember, that interest rate is actually being compounded daily. I'm going to say this again. Your credit card interest, loan interest, all that fun stuff is compound daily. It's just at the end of the month when you look at your statement, they just kind of put it all together and say like, hey, this is your interest rate for the month. In actuality, that's how it goes. Now let's look at the cons for the snowball method. So the con of the snowball method is that, you know, it's not the most financially efficient, which means what I mean by that is that remember, these interest rates are compounding daily. So that means that you're accruing a lot of interest on those accounts that have high interest rates. Because remember, most of these credit cards are giving you about like 26%, 29% if you're not careful. Now, me, I've been through that process and they hit me hard. However, I did a hybrid approach, but we'll talk about that later because personal finance is personal. Now, avalanche method may be less motivating. This is a con, but can also be difficult to stick to. The reason why it can be difficult to stick to because it could be something that, when you thinking like, yeah, I got it, I got the money this time. However, it could actually be one of your highest bills. which means that it's taking already majority of your paycheck and that you might not be able to sustain that if you don't have steady income, or you're not really pushing forward to make sure that this is a successful, viable outcome because you're not paying focus. You mean you're not paying close attention to what's being paid. Okay, so these are the things that you need to kind of think about now. Now that you've heard about the pros and cons of the avalanche method and you heard the pros and cons of the snowball method, these are the times, this is where you kind of got to figure out what is it about you and your finances that you want to stick with. Okay. You got the thing about your personality. Are you a person that you really feel as though you can actually stick to something? Do you have that grit where you can really stick it out? You'll make it work like no matter which way it comes out. Then you might say, like, hey, I'm gonna try out this avalanche method and see if it works for me. But me personally, I like those quick wins. I went with the snowball method because I was like, okay, I could see some progress. I'm actually paying down something. That's how I felt about it. For some of you who've heard of him, Dave Ramsey always talks about the snowball method. He did not coin that message. Okay. He did not coin that method. He is not the originator of it. He just talks about it a lot in the loudest voice out there. He is not the first one to coin it. Okay. It's just an analogy. Now you have to also think about your financial goals. How fast do you really want to pay this off? And how determined are you to pay this off? These are things that you need to kind of consider when you're doing this. Now, keep in mind, this is for educational purposes only. I'm not giving you advice. Talk to your personal financial advisor for that advice on what is the best way for you. Now, you also think about your debt situation. Remember, I was talking about those interest rates? Those are the things that you want to keep in mind while you're going through that process. This is something that you need to think about, okay? How much debt do you really have? If you do not know how much debt you have, then it's time to take, just pause this video, look at all of your debts, and then be like, my debt and my interest rates on these. What is the best way to go about it? You can't take action until you get the data. And getting that data is also providing feedback. I said this before, but I love this because I came up with it myself. I thought it was great. So you need data, you need feedback, which is looking at your bills, which provides the data. Now you have great data. Now you have to take action. Taking action on that knowledge, because now that you have the data, you got the knowledge of what's going on. Now you got to take action. Taking action on that means that, all right, cool. What is the best strategy to go for my situation? This is where you start taking that action. Okay. So I want you to think about that. All right. And the next one. Okay. Before we go on to the next one, I want to take a quick shout out to all of you who are watching right now. I'm play a little bit of music because, it's time for a drink. I haven't done one in a while. Actually, I bought a lot of things from Costco, so I'm doing more mocktails today. And with my mocktails, this is going to be a mimosa, and I'm doing a pineapple mimosa, not advertising for Dole here. And then I'm doing a pineapple, and then I'm using good old ginger beer to be the fake champagne, as one would say. So let's go ahead on, and as I open these up, I'm gonna go ahead and play a little bit of music, and let's go on and get it in. All right, all right, all right. So what are you guys drinking out there today? I know it's a Friday Eve. So you guys get ready for the weekend. And that's what we're here to do. Because I like to cut my nails too far, I cannot open up this thing. That's the reason why you need to open up bottles ahead of time. Because you got to make sure you pour on time. You know what I'm saying? And pouring requires a skill. It's a skill to have pouring. For those of you who drink beer, you know pouring is a skill. You don't want all that foam in your drink. So what I normally do, I start off with my mimosa, put the pineapple in first, right? Then we go ahead on and take in this lovely ginger beer, and we go on and add that in there. Get a little bubbly. So now we got a little bubbly. I want to say cheers to you all for making it through another week, and for all of those who cannot make it here today. This is for you guys. All right, cool. We got the drinks down. Let's go on and get back to the show. All right, so what do you guys got out there? Let's see. We got cheers. We got some cheers. Yeah. Oh man, here you go. Thank you. I mean, I've been practicing this for quite some time, so I'm constantly changing and evolving. Really want to make sure that this setup is good for everybody to learn and listen from and get some progress from this. All right, so overcoming self-doubt. I'll put some background music because now I got some music up in me and everything like that. I don't know. Let's see what we got. I don't like that. Yeah, we can go with this. I think we'll go with this right here. Keep you awake. Alrighty. So now we're talking about self-doubt, right? We got to think about positive affirmations, celebrate the small wins, and seek support. And what I mean by seeking support, I'm meaning finding a community like this. Finding a community where you can actually come on a YouTube channel, have a great time, hang out with some people that you haven't met in person, but yet you vibe with them because you like the way how they like to party. I like to party with you, so always have a drink. And if you guys see me in person, I'm always open for a drink at the bar, at a conference, so you'll more than likely see me at a conference at the bar. Now, celebrating those small wins. You gotta celebrate your wins, no matter how small they are. And what I mean by that is that's one of the reasons why I do the snowball method. The snowball method help you get those quicker wins. But even if you did the highest interest rate, regardless of the payment amount, you can actually celebrate like, hey, I just paid off 90% of this bill, or I just paid off 50% of this bill. Now, what does that mean? How do you celebrate? You can either celebrate by, buying that lovely pastry that's glistening behind that plexiglass at the bakery and just calling your name. And it's just, y'all know what I'm talking about? Think about your favorite pastry just sitting back there with the light on it. It's just melting with the glaze. Or even that frosting just looking nice. It's a nice little bite. That's what you want. Celebrate those wins. And those positive affirmations, it doesn't matter where you're getting them from. If you want to say an affirmation with me right now, you can just say like, I am about that wallet. Okay, that's the positive affirmation that we're going to go with for today. All right. When you think about all those wins, this is what you want to do. But also going through this process can provide financial burnout, because financial burnout is something that we do overlook from time to time. And I want you to think about that, because that financial burnout, talking about the money, talking about your debt all the time, you talking to everybody else about your finances, you keep telling your friends, no, I can't hang out today because it's not in my budget. Oh man, I really wish I can go to that party, or I can't go to that baby shower because I got things to do. It's okay. Take those breaks. Set a realistic goal. When it comes to paying off debt, it is a lot. But if you just say like, hey, this is what I can budget or set aside, or what I can manage in my income to pay off this particular bill, then it's okay. Do that. If you only can do $50 extra to pay off your smallest debt or to pay off your highest interest rate, do that. Don't extend yourself because everybody else saying, oh, you need to hurry up and rush to pay off your debt. But life happens. You have emergency funds. You got to make sure you constantly pay for those. You have to look at life and be realistic with yourself. Is this something that you can really do? Start small, get those wins. For me, I started small. I started with $10. I paid extra $10 to all the small bills just so I can say, like, hey, I did this. Now, when it came to self-care, what I was doing, I was actually riding my bike. I was getting out, getting some fresh air, taking a break from all the electronics just to get out. Now, obviously, the image, for those of you who are watching on YouTube or even on, mostly YouTube, this is a digital character of me laying out on a what do they call this thing? A long chair on the beach, relaxing. And obviously it looks like with a Mai Tai. I like Mai Tais, I don't know. It's some type of drink. And just relaxing, because this is something that you might need. Just go out, listen to the waves, listen to something else, take your mind off your finances for a little bit. These are the things that you need to start thinking about. You know what? You guys in the comments, let me know, how would you practice self-care? How would you practice self-care getting away from your finances? Like, what are you doing? You doing the skin routine? Are you, drinking water? I always say drinking water. If you follow me on Instagram at About That Wallet, I'm always putting in something in my little note section, just kind of like little reminders of self-care. Like, hey, put $1 in your savings account today. That's self-care. There's self-care for your future self. Open up that HYSA. I know we talk about finances, but it's fine. Your behavior is one of those things that you constantly can do regularly. And I want you to focus on that. So here is where I want you to kind of celebrate yourself again, because you put in the work. You took time out to dedicate your life to be successful. You dedicate your well-being to be all in on yourself. And I can tell you this, since I started this podcast, one of the things that I've noticed, even when it came to investing in all these other companies and putting all this money in, trying to hopefully I can get a return on investment, the best return on investment was on myself. When I started to invest in, like, me going to these different conferences, investing in me, paying for different books, paying for different programs to become a better podcaster, to become better at my finances, and even so that I can share the knowledge with you all. These are the things that I really want you to do, is focus on the wins. But this is a conclusion of this particular segment, which is, remember that both the Snowball and the Avalanche methods can be effective way to pay off your debt. And also you want to choose the method that best suits you and your personality. And by overcoming self-doubt and preventing financial burnout, you can achieve your financial goals. So please make sure that you are giving it your all and focusing on what you need and focusing on yourself. So that will conclude today's episode. Like I said, it's going to be nice and short going forward, because I really want to make sure I hone in on the skill sets and the how-to so that you can be successful. And I do not want to overtake it. So Sierra, you also say here, I like to play poker even though I'm not good at it. Hey, take that small win. If you get that one hand, you won it. Hey, that's a win in your book. All right. So, all right, everybody, please make sure y'all like, subscribe, share as usual. And I look forward to seeing you all next week. And y'all have a good one. Peace. What's if I'm outro?